Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to start a new series. Basically, for the foreseeable future, every month, I'm going to be doing a video of current information on the real estate market in Newcastle County, Delaware. As of right now, I'm just going to do it on Newcastle County. I may expand it to other areas. Depending on. Newcastle County is where I mainly focus my real estate in, but obviously Kent County, Delaware, and Sussex County, Delaware, I've done quite a few businesses in there as well. So, like I said, we're just going to start with this for now. I might expand it to those two counties in Delaware as well. For those who aren't involved in this market, this is still good information to know, because sometimes it can give you a better national trend if you know what's happening in other people's, neighborhoods and counties and all that stuff. So I'm going to do a little bit of catch up. I'm going to do the past few months as well. So, this video is obviously coming out, now, and this information is from a few months ago, but, that way it'll allow you to see the trend. So we'll just do a little bit of history of the market, and then we'll, new videos going forward will be of the current month or the month after. So, so just to get started, I have the reports I get online from, our MLS system here, our multiple list system. So I'm just gonna, read the information off of there and, kind of just give my opinions or thoughts on it. If you have different thoughts and opinions on this same information, feel free to comment below and we can, have a discussion. So that's what it's about. Just, giving your opinion on what you think the market's going to do, because obviously none of us really know what's going to happen, but we can try and predict, and it can be fun trying to predict. So let's do it. So this the information I have, it comes out usually around the 15th of the month. So for like September's numbers, it usually would come out like around October 15th. So usually we're about a month behind, but that's just takes a while to compile a bunch of data. So so for this video, we are doing June's information. So, and all these numbers are year over year. So it's good, like when you compare June 2017, you're going to be comparing it to June 2016. They do compare it sometimes to the month prior, but in terms of being able to get a more accurate picture, I do believe that you should compare it with the month of the previous year, because it's the same time, because there are busier seasons, there are less busier seasons, so that's best thing to do. So one of the first things it does, this video is probably going to be longer, just to interject for a second, this video is probably going to be a little bit longer than videos going forward, but I'm just going to set up how the how this works, like the information they give us. So it might seem like a while, but going forward it'll be probably a little bit shorter. So the first one we have is the total inventory numbers for June. Now, in Newcastle County, there was 2,264 units, and that's just basically how many houses were available for sale. Houses, condos, townhomes, anything, land, all that stuff. Compared to June of 2016, that's actually, it's about 100 less units. So it's showing here, 4.9% decrease. So what that means is there's less houses for sale, and with just that information, you really can't come to any kind of conclusion. But going forward, we'll see what that means, and we'll see that means the buyers haven't been decreasing, but the sellers have been decreasing. So as going forward, as we go through all these numbers, we'll be seeing why that's having an effect on the market that it's currently having. So, so that's the total inventory number. That's a good number to look at. But something I really do enjoy looking at, every month when it comes out, is the inventory accumulation numbers, and that's basically the numbers. If no more houses came for sale in the market, how many months would it take to sell everything that's for sale? And so for June, it was 4.2 months. So, if nothing else was put up for sale from here on, it would take 4.2 months for every house to sell. Typically, that number is used to gauge what kind of a market is, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. A 4.2 number is below 6, and 6 is usually, the point from where if it's above 6 months, it's typically a buyer's market where the buyers have tons of houses to choose from. But if it's below 6, it's typically the sellers have tons of buyers to choose from. So it's a little bit harder for buyers to find the house they want. But sellers can sell their houses usually pretty quick, if they're priced right and, everything's in order. It's not like any house is going to sell, but like almost every good house will sell pretty quickly. So that's what we have going on there. 4.2, so it's pretty solid. Last year it was 4.8, so it's another decrease. So we're seeing that inventory coming down, and it's affecting the inventory accumulation number. So next number we have here is the pending units. So how many units are pending in June? So how many are waiting to go to settlement? They have an offer accepted and they're waiting for them to settle. So how many of those were there in June? That's 696. Now that is a really big number for June. It's probably one of the biggest numbers. In the past 10 years, it's the biggest June ever. So last year it was 549. So that is, almost 150 unit increase, which is massive. That's over 26% increase. So we can see that people are out there buying houses and they're buying them quick. And they're buying lots of them. So next number we have is settled units, so how many houses actually sold in June. So there were 754 units sold in June. That is also the biggest number in the past 10 years. Over the previous year, it's about a 9% increase, so it's about like 60 more houses sold in June. So now here's a really good number here. This number here is the total settled volume. So the amount of all the houses that sell, what that was worth. It was 201 million. That is, also another number one in the past 10 years. So these numbers, obviously it's a pretty busy market. I've experienced it myself. So these numbers are pretty accurate in terms of predicting if it's a busy market or not. So it's been busy. And then, so the next one we have is the median settled price. And that just, what's the median price that house is sold at, and it's 240. This number's pretty stable. You can find some variations. Last year in June it was 239, so it's $1,000 increase. But typically that number's pretty stable. Then we have the average settle price. So it's the average, not the median. Which there's what the difference is. The median is the middle number and the average is the average. So this one was 267. This one you get a little bit more variation in. Obviously the luxury market affects this price more than it affects the median price. That's why they have a differential, a difference. So this one was 267. Not too much of an increase over last year. It was 262. So just under 2% increase. Then we have, and this is a good number too to look at. This number will basically, this is the average settle price over the original asking price. So basically, what percent of the price that people get for what they're asking? And the number's at 96.3%, which is, again, the highest number in the past 10 years. That means, people aren't trying to get a really, cheap house. They're not really trying to, they see a house that's offered for 100 and they're offering, really close to that 100. You're not seeing people offer like 90, 95,000. Obviously it happens, but the average, again, this is the average. They're getting really close to what they're asking. So 90 over 96%. So that's pretty good for sellers, obviously, because there have been quite a bit of multiple offers on properties. It's more common these days because of the things we just went through, that there's less houses for sale. There's still more buyers. So that's what we have going on there. Okay, and the next numbers we have here, these are just going to be the numbers to date, year to date. So every single month from, every single day from January 1st till June 30th. So the amount of houses that have sold in that time frame is 3,236, which is about 11% increase. So, obviously this shows you that just June has not been a busy month. It's been a busy all spring, that we're almost, we're over 11% increase over last year on settled houses. Pricing year to date, it's not too much of an increase. It's 247,000. Last year was 243,000. So, just, about 1.5% increase there. Median settled price is pretty similar. It went from a 223 to a 224. Nothing big there. Now, we have total settled volume. That was just over 700 million last year. Right now, we are just over 800 million year to date. So that is a pretty sizable 13+% increase. So that is really good. And then this goes. Then the final number we have is the average settle price over the asking price, and that's at 95.06%, which is it's about a 0.5% increase over last year. So people are getting closer to what they want, what they're asking for. Now this next set of information data that we have here is this is basically the buyers. This is everything we were just doing there is kind of like a market thing, and it's kind of geared towards the sellers. Now this is what we have, pretty good information on buyers. So for here in June, we had, and how they gauge buyers is the amount of appointments that are scheduled, the houses that are shown, like how many people are out there looking. That's, obviously one of the best ways we can, gauge buyers. So, the amount of appointments that happened in June, it dipped, March, April, and May were around 20,000, and June's probably around, it was around like 17,000. So about 18,000. So obviously it dipped, but the previous, the numbers that I just showed you, they're all like the houses that are sold in June, the houses that have, penned in June and gave us the average settle price, all that stuff. That's for houses that people usually bought, a month or two prior. So they usually bought them in April or May, and they just settled in June. So that's why you'll see the appointments drop down, which will indicate maybe like July is not going to be as busy of a month as June was. We are going to the summer months, so that's kind of expected. And we can also see how many appointments we have per listing. So what the average number of appointments per listing, and that number's coming in June around a little over 5.5. So that's good. It's down like the previous numbers are from March, April, or May. But like I said, that's pretty expected. And most of the appointments, over half of them are coming in under the 300 to down to the $100,000 price range. So most of our buyers in that 1 to 300 range, which is pretty expected. And from what I hear from everyone out there, that's on point. So we have that. And then I have some quarterly information for the second quarter. So that would be April, May, and June. So the second quarter ended in June. So for Newcastle County for the quarter, we have the median sale price at $225, which is showing about a 2.3% increase over last year. So that's good. Numbers are going up. Average sales price was $250,162. So that was about a 3.5% increase. People are getting about 96% of what they're asking. So, that's a almost a percent increase over last year. The homes for sale is 2,253, which is down significantly. That's 14.1% down. And then we have closed sales, which is how many have settled in the past quarter. That's 2,091, which was a 12.4% increase. So you can see we have more houses selling, less houses for sale. And what does that mean for the months of supply? Or the inventory accumulation, as the other report calls it. It's showing it for the quarter, it was 3.9 months, which is a 21% decrease over last year. So we have a massive shortage of houses, basically, in terms of people selling them. So, and it took about an average of 65 days for houses to sell in this quarter, which is 14.5% less than it was last year in this quarter. So, which pretty much, I mean, all the data is pointing towards, there's not enough houses for sale. So that's basically the information that, we get on a monthly basis. We'll be having them coming out for July, August, September, October, November, and so on, every single month. So it's good information. I mean, if those who are interested in the real estate market, to be able to make well-informed decisions, you got to know what's been going on in the market, possibly try to see where the market is going, the best that you can. And how do you do that is by getting this kind of information. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be, like I said, a monthly series of, I'm just going to review the data that came out and give what I thought about it, So that's what we have going on from here. So feel free to check out, if it's the first time you're watching this one. I mean, there could be months after this. Feel free to check them out. If you want to see a trend that's going on, watch all the videos of every month and just see what's been going on through all of them. Best way to stay up to date is just keep following what's going on. All right. So yeah, until next time, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was very informative. If you made it all the way to the end here, might as well go ahead and give it a like, and if you don't mind, go ahead and subscribe so that way you don't miss another monthly report of what's going on in the real estate market here. So until next time, guys, I'll see you later.